All right, guys, welcome back to H2H Tasos. We're at week 15 of the NFL season. That is absolutely absurd. I know you got a big old grin on your face over there because, yes, you are coming off of a win, few and far between so far this season. I know you can't counter that, but yeah, in the last week's worth of football, you did win there. So you had 2 weeks ago one of the worst weeks that you've had on the show, right?
Yeah,
I only
horrible.
hit the fade me pick, which you think would matter, but you did cash your double down last week. So you are coming off of a win. Take your little victory lap. It's one of those teams that, seems like they have the 8% chance to make the playoffs, but are celebrating a win. But go ahead, do your thing.
We're like the Bengals right now. We win on Monday Night Football against the Cowboys, and we barely have a shot, but we're still there. There's a path for us. Yeah, look, one day at a time. I'm not gonna get too overzealous. I'm not gonna listen. You still have the advantage, so I can't really shit talk you too much. But one day at a time, 1 week at a time, we're getting there. There's a path for us. I'm giving myself the preseason win. I don't care what people say. I know if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, you win it, but
that's the backdoor one. That's the backdoor one.
Do not look great right now. You had a Bengals-Niners Super Bowl. You had the Colts make the playoffs.
That's not out of it. That's not out of it.
Yeah, but
I think they have like a 20% chance or something.
It's the Colts. But yeah, I'm giving myself that one. So 5-9 technically. If I give myself that win, 4 games back with a lot of football to go, I would be scared if I were you. That's all I'm going to say. I would be really scared if I were you.
I mean, my biggest thing, and this is so nitpicky, but it's so right. You can watch back last week. I was so high on Jaden Reed. And I got that line before, who was out? Was it Dobbs? Yeah, Dobbs was out, right?
Yep.
Dobbs. Okay, he was out.
I always say Doobs, but
I say Dobbs, I don't even know what I say anymore. But anyways, I was so high on Jaden Reed. Then he gets ruled out afterwards, and I was like, oh my God, this is a lock. His line went to 4.5. I got him at 3.5. He had 1 target. So that is I know it's nitpicky, but oh my God,
excuses, not nitpick. I'm hearing
excuses. That is. I'm admitting that was the worst. I'm focusing on now. That this thing's going south because I was high on him and he had 1 target and it was terrible. So, yikes.
Chiefs, the double doink didn't do you any favors either. That was crazy.
That is I think I kind of I faded the Chargers in a sense. And it's you did well. The Chiefs just did what they do and just get so lucky. But anyways, guys, welcome back to H2H. If you guys don't know what the show is, it is an amazing program. We can call it a program, right? I think so.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? We can call it anything we want. Anyways, what we do is go back and forth with our NFL picks for the week, although we are at mercy of the wheel. It'll tell us what betting category to go into, player prop, money line, spread, all that type of stuff. So, Tasos, you ready to jump into this?
I'm ready. I'm amped. That win gave me the juice I needed, and I'm feeling good. I've said it before. I'll say it one more time. Don't let me get hot.
Oh my God, here he is. Don't let him get hot. That is your saying, and you know what? Every time you've said it, you've kind of it's worked, but I don't know if you've done it 2 weeks in a row yet.
This year, no. Last year, yes. This year, not so much. But yeah. I'm ready. Listen, I got a lot of double downs in my back pocket. I got a lot of teasers prepared. You don't want the teases. That's all I'm going to say.
The double down did cash for you last week, right?
Yeah.
All right.
That was scary, though. The Dolphins almost made me
overtime. Yep. Jonnu Smith just goes nuclear in overtime. But anyways, Tasos, we just have 2 slices on the Evan Tasos wheel here this week. Whoever this lands on, guys, will end up going first. It's then a snake draft for that. You'll see a second wheel in just a second with all of our categories. Guys, before we do jump into it, comment down below. This week, are you Team Ev or are you Team Tasos? I think the people should be Team Ev because Tasos can't seem to string 2 wins together, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and spin it.
Lifetime record, I'm still positive on this show. I'm still the leader on this show, lifetime. So let's not get too carried away.
That's true. Hey, you're only as good as your last week. That doesn't even work for me either.
That's fair also.
All right, Tasos, you are going first. All right.
Grabbing the bull by the horns.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next wheel. All right, we're going to pop up the next wheel on the screen. This is the bet category wheel. It has 2 totals, 2 spreads, 2 player props, 2 money lines, a sole Thursday Night Football, a sole plus money play, and a sole touchdown score. Whichever this lands on, Tasos, you're leading us off. That is the category for round number 1. We'll shuffle it a couple times. Let's go ahead and spin it. What are you looking for here as it spins?
I'll be heads up honest. I don't want player props. That's the one area where I'm not.
No.
Oh, no! The one area where I was not the most prepared.
And that landed directly on player prop too. That's never a good omen overall. All right, guys, take a quick break for a second to tell you something that we've told you before, but we're going to tell you again. Outlier is the best research tool for all of your sports picks. If you feel like you are struggling, you need to get this tool. From their game screen, you can see all of the lines, best odds available, as well as hit rates. You can dive in and look at the match more intimately with the rankings and everything else. They also have their prop screen, which I absolutely love. You can filter through to kind of narrow it down and chisel down that slab of stone to what you like. So if you have a specific odd range you're looking at and that type of thing, you can go through, see their last 5, last 10, head-to-head this year and last year. Pro features also have EV, boosts, arbitrage, and middling. But what I like, and especially if you don't have all the time in the world, is this Insights tab. You can go through and filter as well. Say you're looking for things that are minus 130 and above, right? So all of a sudden, now you're looking at trending plays in the market. They show the hit rate. They show where the best odds are. Really cool, guys. You get 7 days of a trial down below in the pinned comment and the description. Go check out H2H's sponsor, Outlier. Go check it out. Do not miss out on this. It's great for all sports as well. We're looking at football here. NBA, it's killer in. Go check out Outlier. That link is down below.
Yeah, not great. All right. I got a pick, though. It's okay. All right. I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I know last week I'm kind of contradicting myself because last week I said I'm not touching the Niners for the rest of the season.
Oh, my God.
But then I watched that game, and I'm like, wait a second. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay.
I might not be done betting the Niners. So my player prop here, we got Niners-Rams, Thursday Night Football. I'm going George Kittle over 56.5 receiving yards. It's minus 120 on DraftKings, minus 110 on Bet365. For starters, the matchups is great. The Rams overall this year are 25th in receiving yards allowed, giving up 243 yards per game. Versus tight ends, they're 20th. So they're bottom half in the league, giving up 55.8 receiving yards per game to opposing tight ends. So you have that matchup to look forward to here. He's cashed in 8 of his last 10 games. He obviously had a massive game against the Bears, 151 yards receiving. He seems to be the most consistent receiver the Niners have next to maybe Juwan Jennings. But overall, so far this year, 73% hit rate, 8 out of 11 games. Only 3 times this year has he failed to cash the over versus the Bills. They're a top 10 team versus tight ends. Versus the Patriots, surprisingly, top 12 team versus tight ends. And versus the Jets, who are top 5 versus tight ends. So pretty tough defensive matchups there. But when he's played these teams that are like bottom half the league or worse, or like average, he seems to go off pretty consistently. I will say in the head-to-head data category, though, the last time these two teams played, which was last year, he had just 30 receiving yards in that game. But that was September of 2023, so a very different time, very different team. But I like what I'm seeing from Kittle right now. The data looks solid. He's getting about 6 targets per game over his last, over the last 10 games here. Over the last 10 games, getting 6.2 targets per game. He catches almost everything that's thrown his way, so... and also, one last little tidbit before I give you your chance to rebuttal. The insights provided by Outlier. George Kittle has exceeded 56.5 receiving yards in 7 of his last 8 games versus bottom 10 defenses for receiving yards allowed, averaging 89.8 receiving yards per game across those 8 games. So it looks like a really solid matchup to me. He's clearly the number 1 option on this Niners offense. They technically are still alive just thanks to that win against the Bears. It's a long shot, but they have a path as well. So I guess your Super Bowl preview, Brett, is still technically alive. Bengals, Niners. Long shot, but it's technically alive.
The Bengals have, wait, hold on. I have that up somewhere. Here we go. Bengals, 3% chance to make the playoffs. 49ers, 8% chance to make the playoffs. So together, that is
Super Bowl teams.
Those are my Super Bowl teams. Don't sleep on the Eagles. That George Kittle prop, I don't mind it. The only thing, so I haven't recorded it yet, but I've done some research for the Thursday night. And by the way, my player prop's also in the Thursday night football game, so we kind of double dip there. But I don't mind it. The only thing I'll say is George Kittle's obviously like the red zone target and whatnot for this 49ers team. That is where the Rams have been. The Rams have not been that great of a defense, right? They've been pretty sure in the red zone, which is good, but the Rams blitz a decent amount. They pressure a lot, and George Kittle is the guy on the 49ers that kind of thrives in those pressures and blitzes. So that's why I do like it. I will say that red zone, though, if they get all the way down there and all of a sudden it's like, oh, George Kittle is, he's got the chunk plays to get up and down the field, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, where is he in the red zone? That could be difficult. But again, overall, I can't disainee with it.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with receiving yards?
I was thinking touchdowns. I guess that you're right.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Scatterbrain Ebb. We made him nervous, folks. Look at him. He's getting red over there. We made him nervous. We won one game.
Do you know why I was thinking touchdowns? Because the minute you said George Kittle And what did I have last week? I had George Kittle touchdown. And
Yeah,
I
you
was
did.
thinking about how
And
he
he
went
didn't. And he
off.
didn't cash it.
Yeah, he had 190,000 yards. Okay, then fair enough. Yeah, because they do, I guess, take away the red zone. He does get a lot of targets in the red zone, so I guess that I should have said that and really pivoted really quickly. But overall, like he is the blitz guy, he is the pressure guy. In which I think I have it up actually. Yeah, so ready? The Rams this last 4 weeks. 10th in blitz rate, 12th in pressure rate. And they don't sack. They're third to last in sack. So
Yeah.
they send pressure, they do blitz. George Kittle thrives in that. So I guess, to your point, what does it have to do with the red zone? Nothing. I kind of sign off on it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want to hear what your Thursday night pick is, though.
So,
I'm curious.
So Cooper Kupp.
Oh boy. Okay.
This is a weird one, Tasos. Cooper Kupp, first quarter receiving yards, under 11.5.
You're playing with fire here with these first quarter unders. That's
this is a surefire. Take it to the bank.
Way to
double down.
Oh boy.
Play on the first quarter here. There's no reason that either one of these teams should come out firing the ball. I should have said that against your George Kittle play. Both these teams struggle against the run schemes that both run, which I think is zone run. So inside the tackles and whatnot, inside zone. And overall, when you look at Matthew Stafford, let me give you some stats here. So they run. I got the stats this week, Tasos. They run a lot of one high safety looks. They run a lot of zone. Matthew Stafford, compared to his regular stats with those one high safety looks, completion percentage drops about 12%. His yards per attempt drop over a yard. Success rate drops 11 points. Accuracy drops from, Accuracy drops from 75 to 60%. His EPA, so expected points added, drops from 59.7 to 3.48. His DVOA goes from 49% upgrade to 5.5% negative 5.5%. There's no reason why Cooper Kupp should be getting all these targets in the first quarter. He might have a catch for 8 yards or so, but I don't expect either one of these teams to be passing the ball a lot. I think one possession for the Rams in the first quarter, one catch, 8 yards, he's out. There's a lot of numbers. That's going to be tough to, unless you call me a nerd, it's going to be tough to come back from.
So my one thing I'll say, and I don't have the science, I don't have a million stats just fired up to counteract that, but. And this is just a personal thing. I have never been a fan of quarter bets. It's the one thing I think it's the stupidest bet in football. And any
well, I don't even know if I've done one this year, so I guess I can agree with that. I honestly don't know if I've done one.
I think quarter bets, you can give me all the science you want, you can give me all the facts you want. Quarter bets are the luckiest bets next to touchdown props. Like they are first touchdown score props.
Mm-hmm.
They're just luck. It's 100% luck based because all it takes is one broken tackle and he could get 20 yards on one catch and then you're cooked. Yep. And there's really no science. There's really no science behind it. I mean, there is some, I guess, but I think this is to double down on a first quarter under of all things. Like I listen, you got cojones, I guess. I would never think to touch it. I would never even put a quarter of a unit on it. Never mind 2 units. So you got balls, my friend. I personally would never touch this though. I think quarter prop is just not smart.
I think I honestly think Cooper Kupp could, for the longevity of the game, do okay. I think I like his matchup versus the defensive back and whatnot. So I actually would almost flip that and be like, I only like his quarter prop. I think coming into the game, they're going to go run, and control possession from the 49ers. That's what I think I would try to sell to you as the benefit of the quarter versus as the game drags on, and then he has more targets. I think that this is just 15 minutes of boom. You can't take away, like I can't take away from you being like one catch and it cost it. True. But now I'm only talking a 15-minute sample size versus an entire game.
How disheartening is it going to be when he catches a slant
route
over
first play of the game?
12 yards. Yeah.
First play of the game.
The number being where it's at, 11.5. Like that's one route. I just want to take a look real quick. I'll have one data point to throw back.
Average yards per reception, 10.8.
Yeah, so
and he's only hit this over in 3 times this year out of his 9 games. So, and last year he only hit it in 4 of his 13. So I mean, there is like actual trends there. I don't think that the whole Matthew Stafford and all those numbers I throw out there are to say that shouldn't, their game plan is not, or shouldn't be, in my opinion, to come in and go Cooper Kupp. They should be looking run. That's where I go at. But I do hear you. This is like the longest. We had that debate a couple weeks back, right? The longest reception. One, he might have a million yards receiving, but he never catches a long one. You could also flip and be like, okay, he has one catch and it's long enough. So I hear you.
The last point I'll make before we stand too long on this one, you have a lot of, not to keep talking about your balls, but you got a lot of them because he literally just cashed it last week versus the Bills. He had 24 yards receiving in the first quarter.
Yeah,
Versus Buffalo.
he hadn't done that for a month prior to.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong, but that average yards per reception being 10.8 is kind of like literally his average yards per catch is right where that line is just about.
Well, yeah,
so.
I mean, if he has 2 catches in the first quarter, I assume that this is chalked. I think that both of these teams in this game are playing possession battle, so that's what I mean.
All right, I can't hate on it too much. Just he is 21.3% target share is also kind of concerned. Like he gets when they throw the ball, he gets it more. Him and Naku obviously, but
yeah, I feel like the double down could be aggressive, but we'll see how that.
It couldn't. It's not that it could be. It is aggressive.
It is aggressive.
Hey, listen.
All
this
right,
is why one of us won a championship last year, and one of us didn't.
True. It's factual. That's the type of thing I can't rebut. But all right, guys, we're going to pop up another wheel here. Round number 2. I am leading us off now, and this is now one less on the wheel, one less player prop. We still have Thursday Night Football in there, which I'm not going to lie to you, Tasos, before we spin this, that was my favorite Thursday Night Football prop. So now I do have one more.
Really? So
I'm okay if that comes up. But that being said, I kind of just burned my number 1. You know what I mean? So if Thursday Night Football comes up, I will scramble a little bit, but let's go ahead and spin this. I have a few money lines that I like, so that would be my guess, or my wish, I should say.
I have quite a few picks that I like, but there's one in particular I'm hoping
touch. Okay, we're gonna look at okay.
Oh, that's not good for you.
Oh, because you're going tease.
I got the total tease.
Because he's going tease. All right. So you hit that last week too, right? Still.
Well, last week wasn't a total. Last week it was
yeah, but still
spreads,
tease.
But
you've still Jesus.
Yep.
All right.
Teasers, man.
In terms of what I have I have 2 here. You're going to rip this one apart. I know it.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is tough. Okay, I'll phrase it like this. Tell me why my pick of Jets team total over 20.5 shouldn't be a decent look against the Jaguars here.
I mean, yeah, I guess
4 straight weeks. They've cashed it in 5 of their last 6. Jaguars, I mean, other than Tennessee last week, we've seen what they've done, right? They had one good game against Minnesota, and then other teams, like the Patriots put up 16 against this team.
No.
You're telling me the Jets can't put up 21?
I can't poke a hole in it. I'll be totally upfront honest with you on that point.
It's gross. It's the Jets. It's gross.
My problem with it, truth be told, is the fact that it's the Jets. And I've now taken a solemn vow. If you're not betting against them, don't bet on them. They make no sense as a football team. And the fact that there's all the Rodgers drama now, there's is he going to play the rest of the year? Is he going to get cut? What's going to happen? I listen. Power to you for taking this one. I would just not want my week to be determined by.
And I'm gonna. Right? I'm just kidding. I'm not done.
It is a good matchup. The Jaguars' defense has been it's literally been one of the worst defenses all year long. I can't deny that fact. They have gotten a little bit better, but 28th in scoring. They are 31st against the pass, 24th against the run. It's not good. It's not good. And the Jets did score 26 against the Dolphins, and their defense is better than the Jaguars. Not much better, but a little bit better. So
one thing too that I honestly like the kind of the front runner piece of this, and it wasn't always let's go with the Jets. Jacksonville this season dead last in time of possession. There's not a better team on the other side that you can account for more possessions for, than facing Jacksonville. So yeah, 20.5. They got to get 3 touchdowns, or obviously just 21 points. However, but if the Jets give up, then sure. But I think that there's also enough young guys on there and whatnot that maybe they want to kind of go out showing what they have. Breece Hall might not even play, which I might like more because Braylon Allen's going to try and be like a brute. You know what I mean? It's more fading the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I like I said, I can't statistically and mathematically, I can't poke a hole in it because it does make a lot of sense. It just I see the Jets and I just go ew. I just wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to put my money on the Jets, but.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars are just like a bigger ill. I just picked the ill game and I just took the lesser of 2 ills.
Yep. All right. I'm actually gonna go, and I might kick myself in the ass for doing this. I'm not gonna go total tease.
Should you just award the win to me for this round? What
I might come back to regret this, but I'm gonna go with the team. I'm gonna follow your suit. I'm gonna go with the team total here. Okay. I'm gonna go Ravens team total over 27.5 points, which is for -135 on BetMGM right now. This just feels like a, hey, time to wake up spot for the Ravens. Now, they've now lost 2 of their last 3 games. They lost to the Steelers. They lost to the Eagles. They are coming off a bye week as well, so they had an extra week of rest. Believe it or not, Baltimore, and I honestly, like, it took me a second looking at them. Like, I couldn't believe they're actually 8-5 this year. Like, they've lost a healthy amount of games this season, which is kind of crazy to think about. But the data's there. They've cashed this over in 7 of their last 10 games, 70% hit rate, averaging 31.2 points per game. The 3 times they didn't cash it, 24 versus Cleveland, 16 versus the Steelers, and 19 versus the Eagles. The Steelers and Eagles are both 2 of the hottest defenses right now, so it's really hard for me to look at that. And the Giants do have pieces, and I keep convincing myself every week that the Giants defense is good, but it's not that good. They're tied for 14th in scoring. They are a good pass defense, but they are the 29th ranked rushing defense. That's not very good when going
That's
against
not the
Ravens.
best.
So,
Yep.
I think the Giants are due here. I mean, the Ravens are due here. I think they're going to take some frustration out coming off the bye week. They obviously need to win this game because now they're in a wild card spot. But I think this is a good, like, hey, we've lost 2 of the last 3. You know, the Chargers game was a tight one. The Bengals game was a tight one. Like, they haven't had a good win in over a month since the Broncos. In terms of, like, you know, they confidently won it from start to finish. They played a complete game. Like, the Chargers game, they were down early. The Bengals game was back and forth. They lost the Steelers. They lose to the Eagles. You know, and then the Broncos game was the last time we saw them from start to finish play a good game. And before that, they lost to the Browns. So I think they're due for a good game here. And I think there's no better team to play when you need to score points and have a good game than the Giants right now. So I think Baltimore over 27.5 is a pretty good play.
Yeah, I mean, I can't knock that one. You just look at, you probably see it up in front of you too. Look at their wins. When Baltimore wins games, how many points do they score?
Yeah,
Right? Just the last while, 30, 35, 41, 41, 30, 41. So when they win, they're not scrounging out these like, you know, when the Bengals played the Giants in primetime a while back, the Bengals beat the Giants, was it 17-7?
Yeah,
I know the Bengals have a good offense, but that ain't the Ravens. They can just topple it on, and when they're hot, they're hot. And this Giants team is terrible. I know last week you could be like, oh well, they only let up, what was it, like 14 points? But they played the Saints. Dallas put up 27 against them. Tampa Bay, okay, good offense, put up 30. The Carolina Panthers put up 20. You know what I mean? So I can't knock that one. And
the Giants they lost Dexter Lawrence now for the year too, which doesn't help their defense. Like, their defense is was getting thin to begin with, and now, like, the one piece was their defensive line, and now the defensive line is hurt. So I think the Giants, they're packing it in for the year. Daboll is probably going to be fired soon, but Baltimore, like I said, the Ravens, for as much as we talk about them as a contender, they're 8-5. I mean, they need a win here to kind of to talk us back into them. So.
Yeah,
like I said, the Giants are basically like Viagra for teams. Like, you know, they help you look good.
It's a good recipe because when the Ravens win, they do put up numbers. And if you think that the Ravens aren't winning this game, then either
they're
froze over.
Point favorites.
Exactly. So when they win, no matter they put up. So I don't mind that one whatsoever. I think they can run all over them too. All right.
Yeah.
Round number 3, going to start us off. Before we get into it, what do you like? I know you said, what did you say?
I got some money lines. I honestly, again, the only spot where, like, I don't have a ton, and this is every week because we record earlier in the week. The player props, I don't have a huge laundry list of player props, but I do have some. But I would prefer anything other than player props just because I have more options.
I think I'm in the same boat with player props and touchdown score, kind of the same realm, right? All right, let's go ahead and spin it. I also don't know if I want Thursday Night Football now though, because I kind of gave my.
I have one good play for Thursday Night Football.
Oh my god, I'm just. We're both jinxing.
You're literally screwing me with this.
You jinxed the player prop one. We're just, oh my god! All right, touchdown score.
You know what? I should just stop saying I don't want something because it's just going to keep coming back up my way. All right, so decision time here.
By the way, when we say touchdown score, we can do.
Yeah, we can pick any player.
But do you want to do like quarterbacks over, like, you know what I mean? They can throw for touchdowns, or do you have to score it?
No, I think it's gotta be like an actual like anytime touchdown.
Anytime touchdown. All right. Yep. Yeah. I agree.
All right. Scheisse. This is talk about lack of preparedness on my part. Shoot. You got me on a box here. I have like 4 options, but I don't love any of them all that much. Yeah, I guess I'll go with that. Now, they don't have odds up right now for it, but I'm going to go ahead and take Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown scorer for the Dolphins. Now, we don't have odds right now. I'm honestly, I don't really have any data to back it up because literally it's not coming up on the screen. My only thing I'm going to say about this is I think the Dolphins, obviously, you saw last week, they're still alive. The offense is waking. Now, obviously, the Packer game aside, since Tua's been back, they have been waking up. Like, they have been playing a lot better football. Now, the Jets game was a bit of a scare last week. They barely squeaked that one out. But I like Miami. I think they have a lot to play for here. There's actually a massive game, too, because they're playing the Texans, who are 8-5. This is one of the teams Miami's trying to jump for that playoff spot. And the Texans, honestly, I don't really know what to make of them this year. I mean, they're 8-5. They're having a decent season, but they're really not a great team on either side of the ball. You know, defensively, they're solid, tied for 12th in scoring, 10th against the run, 7th against the pass, tied for 4th in yards per play. They forced a healthy amount of turnovers, decent pass rush. I mean, the numbers look decent, but the Texans, they just struggle a lot for reasons that I don't really understand. If you look at Houston now, they're favored in this game, but if you look at their last couple of games, I mean, it's they're coming off a bye week, so that is a little advantage for them. But you know, they barely beat Jacksonville the last time out. You know, they barely beat Jacksonville. They lost the Titans. You know, they crushed the Cowboys, okay, but you know, they lose to Detroit. They had a tough. They lose to the Jets. You know, they have a battle with the Colts. You know, they lose the Packers. Like, they have had 2 good games since October, really. You know, where they beat the Patriots, they spanked the Patriots, and then they beat the Cowboys. Besides that, they've either lost every game or very narrowly won a game against a team they probably should have beaten. So I'm just not sold on this Houston team. Now, they have a lot of injuries, obviously, but Miami's a team that has a lot of firepower, and I do wonder if Houston can stop Miami's offense. And if Miami's going to score touchdowns, it's pretty safe to bet that Tyreek Hill will have something to do with it. So I think he did score a touchdown this past week as well versus the Jets. So I like Tyreek Hill here, anytime touchdown.
Yeah, I honestly don't mind that whatsoever. I mean, this is a Miami team that their offense has looked good literally since Tua's come back.
Yeah.
Like, looked so legitimate, and you kind of hit the nail on the head with, like, well, if their offense is going to go, it's Tyreek Hill. And what I feel like he had a touchdown last week, but he also had, like, I think he had more. I saw it as I was watching the game. It was like he had more passes like within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage than like the 4 weeks prior. So they're just getting him, which we know that they've done that in the past, but they're just getting him the ball like with screen passes and all that. So this Tyreek Hill that, you know, we know how talented he is and whatnot, but years past was like okay, you can't outrun my arm, you know, Patrick Mahomes quote and all that.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill does. On Miami, they're just getting him the ball, red zone, wherever it is. Like, so he is that offense, and that offense is kind of cooking. And you mentioned it, Texans. What are they really like? What is this Texans defense? They were supposed to be good. They've been good. They haven't always been good. So yeah, I can't really, I can't knock that one. And I wonder what your odds are going to be there, because I'm going with a minus money touchdown prop. Minus 115. That's the only odds out right now. FanDuel. Jalen Hurts over 0.5 touchdowns. You've cashed this before.
I considered this one, yeah.
Outlier. This thing popped up to the top 2. Realistically, obviously, yes, the Eagles and I guess the Steelers too, like, they know they're both going to be in the playoffs, but this is still a big-ish game in the sense of Steelers good team, Eagles good team. NFL players and teams will kind of take those games seriously. And against a really good Steelers defense, I don't see the Eagles kind of messing around on the goal line or messing around in the red zone. And you've cashed this, I think, multiple times this year, or at least definitely in H to H. You know what they'll do when they get on the 1 yard line. This isn't like one of those, oh, we'll act like we're tush pushing and toss it. No, they'll push it in. He's averaging 1.2 touchdowns per game over his last 10. On the season, he's averaging 1 touchdown per game, all but 4 games. It seems like a safe spot. Yes, the Steelers defense is tremendous, but I almost think that that's the reason why I like it. You know, like, when they're within the 2 yard line, this will be the play because they don't want to fumble. They don't want to do anything costly. So yeah, it's hard to argue, I'm sure.
The only thing I'd say, the only argument I honestly have is that they might struggle to get in that position where they're at the 2 yard line because of the Steelers defense. But like, if they stop Saquon Barkley, then you're opening yourself up to their passing day. Now, they have had some drama. Obviously, the whole AJ Brown stuff going on right now. Obviously, him and Jalen Hurts seem to have some beef going on, and AJ Brown's not happy with how much he's getting the ball thrown. And understandable, the Eagles' passing attack has not been as consistent as it was last year, specifically with AJ Brown. Remember last year, AJ Brown, he had like 10 games in a row where he had like 100 yards receiving plus, and it was a crazy run. And this year, it's nowhere close to that. But obviously, they have that in their back pocket. They have Devontae Smith back. They have AJ Brown. I think Goddard should be able to play. If not, it doesn't really matter. They still have all these weapons. So The only thing I would be concerned was, and the only reason why I didn't take this pick was because I wonder how many goal line situations are the Eagles going to have.
Fair enough.
But it is the Eagles. This is arguably the best offense in the NFL right now. It's hard to to bet against them. So I can't hate on it too much. It's the only negative I'll say.
And these odds have been worse in weeks past. So it's like we're getting kind of a premium odd just because of how good, which makes sense, obviously, right? How good the Steelers are. But like I do like minus 115 is pretty damn good for Jalen Hurts. And on the AJ Brown note, I think I said it a while back. I forget who I was talking about, but like I'm a pretty big fan of the squeaky wheel gets the grease wide receiver. Like unless you're saying like astronomically bad stuff, when you're like, I'm not getting the ball, Like, even Deebo Samuel tweeted out, I'm not getting the ball. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Deebo gets going now. Like, I think that there's one sports when you can be outspoken and be like, give me the ball. I think a lot of times it's the wide receivers in football. So that might just make AJ Brown more amped up. Now, does that help Jalen Hurts score a touchdown? Maybe AJ Brown scores more, but that might help them get in the red zone, I guess. But I thought that exact same thing what you said. It's like, okay, well, they're going to play it safe when they're on the 1-2 yard line. How many of those 1-2 yard line plays are they going to have? And obviously, you kind of hit the you mentioned it, like this is a good defense. So yeah, fair enough. All right, Tasos, we are heading into the fade me round, huh?
We are, and I'm hoping I get it because I have something that I want to propose to you, but I obviously have to get fade me first. So we'll see how the wheel goes, and then we'll go from there. But I have a fun idea if I get fade me, but again, it all depends on if I get the wheel or not.
All right, now I want you. I'm like, yeah. I want this idea. All right, so we had the original round in terms of how we would, pick who's going first, and it was just 2 slices. Now we got a big old slice. Everybody at the family's getting a slice of pie here. We got multiple slices of Ev and Tasos. I kind of want you to get it here. I feel like just like last week, or what was it, 2 weeks ago? Last week I did hit fade me, but I feel like I emptied the clip. I like the board I have what I want. I don't know if I have any that I'm like, this is an absolute banger. Like, honestly, if I got fade me and hadn't used it yet, it would have been that Cooper Kupp play, which sounds like you would have been okay with. So I'm okay with you getting this. Let's see what you get. Let's see if you get it.
All right, this is big. Come on. Slow,
is it going to sit? Is it going to sit? Put a little backspin on it.
Yes.
You know what? I love that for us. We were both rooting for you there. All
right.
That's a good moment.
So we're going to Thursday night.
Okay.
It is one of my favorite plays, and this is going to make or break my week right here. I'm going on my favorite pick, Rams money line, plus 124 on FanDuel. I'm going to use my double down on it.
Yep.
We're doubling down on Rams plus 124. This is basically my week right here. Okay. My suggestion was that I saw you went live last week. I actually jumped in your live with Paris on Friday. Couldn't join it. I was a little busy at work. My suggestion to you is this. We hop on a live stream for the second half of Rams Niners. If you're up for it, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but if the game's close, we hop on the live stream second half. We live stream the game, you and me, our reaction with. Obviously, this is it. This is kind of the fade. If I lose this, it's a massive loss for me on fade.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be home.
Okay.
But I can try and make that work.
Okay.
Let's see. I can try. I mean, there's no. Yeah. I think that
you're scared. You'll come off as scared if you don't, though. I will let people
genuinely
see it now. So.
Genuinely. I like that idea. I do think that we could try and throw that in there. So you're going Rams money line and doubling down on it.
And doubling down.
For clarification too, just I know you know this, but anyone watching, when Tasos doubles down on a fade me, it's
you
still
don't have to.
It's exact. Yeah. The fade me is the only one where I don't have to like match that with the double down. I don't hate the Rams. I don't hate the Rams at all.
My big thing, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, but I think we're all overreacting a little bit too much to that Niners win. And I get it. It was a big win. They looked really good. And I even took George Kittle in my prop, which I'm kind of going against myself here, right?
Yep.
But let's not forget the Niners before that looked horrendous for weeks and weeks and weeks. Is it more that the Bears are that bad or the Niners are that good? And that's my big thing is that I think the Bears are just that bad. I think that's really what that game was all about. I don't know about the nine. I think that everyone's gonna look at that win and say, "Oh my God, they're back!" Like Kittle looked good, Purdy looked good. They were firing all cylinders. Garendo or however you say his name. They got another running back.
He might not even play. I think he left last game.
And like I said, you look at the weeks before that. They lose to Seattle 2017. They lose to the Packers 38-10. The Bills 35-10. They lose to Tampa 20. I mean, they beat Tampa, but they had since the Kansas City game, they lose to Kansas City. They barely beat Dallas. They barely beat Tampa. They've been on a really rough stretch. And you have a Rams team that just beat the Buffalo Bills 44-42. The Bills, who were the hottest team in the NFL next to maybe the Eagles or Lions,
Yeah.
they beat them, and they're an underdog in this game. It feels a little weird to me. Now, that could be a trap line. I'll be heads up honest. I could be falling for the bait from Vegas because it makes no sense to me whatsoever at all why the Rams are underdogs. Now, I know they're on the road, but in what the Rams even have the better record. They're 7-6. They have some nice wins in the resume. Why they're underdogs in this game makes absolutely zero sense. Unless I'm missing something. Unless like Matt Stafford's hurt. And I just didn't look at. I'm stupid and didn't look that up. I don't understand why they're plus 124 on the money line.
No, they barely have any injuries overall. I've looked at this too. Like I said, I haven't recorded yet, but I've looked into the Thursday night. I'm not sure where I'm going yet, but to me, I don't understand why maybe because when the 49ers were like really bad, and then that last game when they were really bad, Brock Purdy didn't play, right? So it's like maybe that's being created as a bigger issue than it was. Brock Purdy comes back and they look good because he's been phenomenal this season. So maybe that's the only reason. But yeah, I really am kind of in the same boat with the questioning. Now, to double down on it, I don't know if I do that because I still do have that question mark. You know what I mean? I'm like, why is this the case? 49ers are at home. Okay, that's fair enough. But even when you look at it, it's like the Rams have covered in half their games at home, or won half their games on the road and half their games at home. 49ers, 57% of their home games. Like, it's not like this, great, amazing, oh my God, they're winning all the time at home. And even from the offensive perspective, forget last week. Let's look at a bigger sample size of, 3 weeks. The Rams have, if you look at offense to offense the last 3 weeks, they've absolutely dominated. And they've played some similar teams too, if I'm not mistaken, right? I believe, let's see if I can find that. They played let's see, they both played Buffalo recently. 49ers, right? Dominated by Buffalo.
Whooped.
Exactly. And Rams beat them. That's a pretty damning charge if we're in a court of law here, So I don't mind it. I'd love to. Let's see if we can try and get that live going, because I actually think that would be a fun little, let's sweat it out, because you are giving me the favorite. So if we were to like dissect this and be like, well, is Ev mad at the fade me? I don't think so, because there's still a big question mark here as to why the Rams are even underdogs. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like a, as you've done it long enough, I've done it long enough of being able to be like, oh, smells like a trap. It is a trap. But yeah, I think that this Rams team is, well, factually better than the 49ers. They're interdivision here, and this is a massive game for the Rams. I mean, if the Seahawks go and who do the Seahawks have this week? The Seahawks have the Packers this week, right? If the Seahawks lose and the Rams win this one, that is, I mean, I guess it's just the same for the 49ers, but even still, like, the Rams in a little bit better of a situation. That's massive for playoff implications. So, yeah, man, I don't really love having the 49ers. The double down, like, now you're putting 2 units on them, like, that makes me feel almost shaken to my core, but also confident, if that makes sense. Like, I have the favorite, and you double.
If I win, it's a plus 124 play. That's 2 units on a plus 124 play. If I win, not only do you get the loss, but I'm now up, a significant, almost 3 units, I believe. Yeah, just shy of like 3 units profit on one play. And that's not including anything else I do the rest of the week. So you're down a unit. I'm up 3 units if I win. It's a massive. It doesn't guarantee me the win, but it basically puts me in the huge.
What would you have put this spread at if it was up to you? Because I think that I would have gone pick 'em. So it's not like I'm like thinking the Rams should be favored, because I still think that's question mark. But what'd you have it at?
I would have did Rams -3. I think I would do the reverse of what the line is now. The Rams, and don't get me wrong, the Rams have had some rough losses as well, but their losses were like earlier in the year when they were without Pook and without Coop. Like, they lost the Cardinals 41-10.
Yeah.
They lost the Bears earlier in the year, but that's when they had a lot of injuries. Since they've gotten their receivers back, they beat Minnesota. They beat the Bills. They got some nice wins on the resume. The Niners, for the last 2 months, since the Chiefs loss, I just haven't liked anything they've done. Even their wins have been like, they barely beat Tampa Bay. That was when the Bucs were without Mike Evans. They had no wide receivers going, and the Bucs almost pulled it off. And that was the one where, like, Debo got in a fight with the kicker on the sidelines, and like, they've just been a mess. This has been a year from hell for the Niners. I think that win last week, it gives their fans and the whole NFL some false hope that they're going to turn this around. I think the Niners, I think we've all just forgotten so quickly about the last 2 weeks where they got killed by Buffalo and they got killed by Green Bay. Like those two games were not that far away. They got crucified in those games, and this is the same Niners team, if not worse, because they at least they have McCaffrey against the Packers and against at least the start of the Bills game. No Mason, no McCaffrey. Now they lose Garendo potentially. Like I don't know who's gonna be. They might call us to go play running back in this game at some point, but I don't know why the Niners are favored in this game. The spread probably was the smarter play, to be totally honest with you, but I'm just so confident I think this Rams team is going to be in the playoffs. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the division, like I said, they're just one back of like the Rams almost based on the last, what did you say, 6 weeks, kind of deserve that should be the playoff team out of that division. You know what I mean? So I'm
when
with you
they've
there.
been healthy, they look like a solid playoff squad. It just they had a really rough start to the year because of all the injuries, but they bounced back in a big way, and I just don't see why the Niners are this now all of a sudden favorite team just because they beat just so they won last week, and
against the Bears. You said that you should have taken the points. I do like truly. I think this is a pick 'em in my brain, so I don't think the points will matter in this game. So when you say you should have taken the 2.5, that's like the worst number to get anyway. So I don't think that's the worst thing, taking money line over that, because I do think that this is going to be like either 49ers win by 4+ or the Rams win outright type of thing too. So I feel like that is probably the side. But I will say I don't hate being on San Francisco. But I think that I'm leaning so far. Like I said, I've researched this game, haven't recorded yet. I am leaning towards the Ram side of things. So you're speaking my language here. Unfortunately, I have to roll with the other side.
Yeah, like I said, I figure this would put you in a little bit of awkward spot. I mean, like I said, it's not like I'm giving you the Panthers or the Giants or I'm giving you the Niners, but this is me being butthurt because I bet on the Niners so much this year and have been burned so many times because I look at Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy and on the offense, but I think this Niners team's cooked. I think they're gonna. I don't think this is a playoff team anymore, at least for this year. I just don't trust them. I think that everyone is looking at that Bears win and like, oh, the Niners, they're still the Niners, and it's like, well, the Bears lost to the Patriots like 19-3. I was there in Chicago for that game. This Bears team stinks. Like it's bad. And the Bears, because they had gotten a couple games where they kept it close with like the Vikings and the Lions and the Packers, people started to think, oh, maybe this Bears team's got it going. They've now fired their head coach, their offensive coordinator. Like this team is all on interim coaches at this point. I don't buy that win for the. I buy the Rams win means I think more to me than the Niners beating the Bears. Like the Rams win against one of the top teams in the NFL and proved we are right here.
Well, especially because they did the whole like, all right, let's play football type of move. You know what I mean? It's like, neither we already know that this is a really good, obviously, Buffalo Bills offense, but the Bills have a really good defense, and the Bills will go down and score on what is already renowned as a bad Rams defense, right? And then the Rams said, all right, bet you guys have a good defense, we're just going to match you, and we're going to keep going. That was one of the most incredible games overall. So
it was fun. It was a great game. It was a great game.
And who had the over last week in that one? I forget. My only win.
I wanted the over. I bet it on my actual slate, but unfortunately, it was out of my hands. That's true. The wheel gods gave you the power on that one.
Yeah, but all right, yeah. I like I said, I think that's a pretty good fade me because I think you have the right value side. That line is super, super weird. There's no injuries at least that I'm aware of. You said like is Matthew Stafford? Like no, we haven't seen anything, so I don't.
It feels fishy. I might be falling right into a trap, but you know what? I would rather take the Rams and lose than take the Niners and be like, what the hell was I thinking? The Rams plus money in this game. What was I thinking? You know what I mean? Like I'll go to bed still comfortably if I lose and be like, all right, you know what? I took the side that I was supposed to take.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, so those are our plays here for the 4 rounds. Fade me being included. I like I said, I'm indifferent about the 49ers. I like my other spots. How do you feel about your rounds 1 through 3? I know you like your fade me. You got that choice.
Yeah, the only pick where like I feel like I was kind of powerless and it was the Tyreek Hill one, which I still don't like. I don't mind it at all. I like. Right. I mean, Tyreek Hill to score touchdowns always a pretty good bet. That's the only one though where it was like I didn't really love it. I just kind of had to make a pick, and it was on my board. I mean, I liked it, but I the Ravens play I loved. The George Kittle play I like. Yep. The Rams play I love. But yeah, that's the only one where I'm like, I probably with some more time, maybe I would have made a different pick. But I don't mind that pick either.
It's the beauty of age stage. We are at mercy of the wheel. But anything to leave the people with before we close up week number 15, episode number 15?
Yeah. Don't let me get hot. I'll say it one more time. Like you know what?
We can just
It's 1 week at a time.
pre-record that and put it in at the end. You don't even need to take the time every week.
I'll end it with this, and it's a question to ask you. How
All right.
nervous are you going to get if I win this week? Like if that's now 2 in a row,
Massive.
I,
10-4 obviously versus 9-5 is ridiculously different. Like
and again,
ridiculously
and I
different.
know I can't. The Eagles win. But like as of right now, I've already gone back and graded those picks. You already have 2 guaranteed losses. I think, unless the Niners and Bengals shock the world, that one, and then obviously the fade me. The Eagles already cashed the over, so those are 2
Yep.
guaranteed losses already. And the Colts to make the playoffs right now, I guess you're still alive, but between you and me, I think that's a loss. I have 2 guaranteed wins. The Steelers make the playoffs plus 185, and the Eagles over and wins. Those are both already cashed. So
The
I'm
Colts
already
do
2-0.
play
You're
Denver
0-2
this week, right? The Colts could be. Imagine that's the one that bites you. That would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous.
But like right now, I'm in the driver's seat.
I think it's Eagles or nothing.
Yeah, counting that, and again, maybe it's wrong to count as a win, but counting as a win, if I win this week, now all of a sudden we're like 6-9. Pause, but 6-9, like 3 games back with a lot of football to go. Like this is huge. If I win this week, we're right there within striking distance.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy that you double down on a fade me on a plus money play now. When you think about it, you might have been actually in a safer spot than. Okay.
I wouldn't call your spot safer. Doubling down on a first quarter receiving yards under for Cooper Kupp is a crazy move. But you know what?
That's fair. Forget your double down. Even if you lose your double down, fade me. If I lose that, we're just like kind of like
we're even. It cancels out. Yeah.
I mean, I do get the -1. I get the win for 49ers, but still, I get that. Yeah. But all right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for week number 15 of H to H. Go ahead and, again, let us know if you made it this far in the video. We asked you earlier in the video, but comment Team Ev or Team Tasos. I think you should be commenting to Team Ev because proof's in the pudding this year. Tasos did win last year. I give him credit, but let us know down in the comments. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And Tasos, I'm not going to let you have any more time to say let's get hot, so I'll just say it for you. Don't let Tasos get hot. I'll admit it. But we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.